Good morning, students. Today I am going to tell you one of the most important poems ever described by Shirley Toulson, who has written a photograph. It is described in the syllabus of Class 11 CBSE Hornbill. It is the first video in which I would like to introduce you about the poet, who is Shirley Toulson. How cleverly, how beautifully, and how genuinely she has described the poem about the feelings of a child whose mother is dead. She is no more, but she also describes about the spirituality of life, how the human life is temporary, and how the natural life that is abundantly present in the seashore is so vast and permanent that you will know. First of all, I would like to tell you about Shirley Toulson, that you will hear, that you will understand very clearly. Shirley Toulson was born on 20th May 1924 in Henley on Thames, England, as the daughter of Douglas Horsfall Dixon and Marjorie Brown. She had a huge passion on writing and was greatly influenced by a father who was a writer too. She secured a BA on literature from Brockenhurst College in London in the year 1953. She took writing as career but also served as the editor for many magazines, and meantime she married Ellen Brown John on 6 February 1960. They had three children: Janet Sayers, Anne Toulson, and Stephen Brown John. After 9 years, they discovered that divorced on March 1969. Celtic Christianity was influenced her greatly, that most of her major works like Celtic Alternative in 1987 and Celtic Year in 1993 were on that topic. But these works indeed made her more famous indeed. Now let us read the poem that Shirley Toulson has written. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and see the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face. My mother's, that was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, was their terribly transient fit. Some 20, 30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past. Mine is her laughter. Both wry with the labored ease of loss. Wry with labored ease of loss. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences. Here the poet has described so many poetic devices that you will understand, that is about enjambment, that is about alliteration, that is about the imagery. Here, the vast sea is described here. For example, I have taken the real snapshot, that is the picture taken by camera, and you can understand what is the importance and how it reminds us of the past days of that very girl who is just sitting in front of her house taking leisure and remembering the past days of her life, as the poet remembers the past days of her life when she was 12 years old, and now she remembers her mother, how she was well dressed. Really, it is marvelous. This is the beautiful vast expanse of the sea beach where one goes for photography to spend a holiday, and they really like to have some pictures which can remain in memory for the children as well as their family. It is the central idea that I would like to tell you. The poet begins this poem by describing a photograph of her mother in her childhood. The photograph was taken when the poet's mother was 12 years old, and on a day when she had gone to the beach with her cousins, Betty and Dolly. It was a favorite photograph of her mother's, and her mother, two cousins often used to reminisce about the day when it was taken. It has been 12 years since the poet's mother died, and since the poet cannot talk about her death, she chooses instead to celebrate her mother's life by looking at an old photograph of her glorious days. The poem consists of 19 lines in total. Since these lines are not divided into stanzas, they are divided into meaningful segments here for the purposes of this summary, in order to make the poem easier to understand and follow. This poem is written in the first person, hence it is safe to assume that the speaker of the poem is the poet herself. You can see that the two cousins are just beside the mother. Mother is in the middle, and the photograph is being taken on the sea beach. But since the years passed, her mother's photos has changed, but the sea has not changed. Mother's photograph has changed, and the sea has not changed at all. You can see here. The poet wants to convey a direct comparison that how a person changes while the natural things hardly change. They are permanent, they look alike. So I will explain it to you in the next two videos that you will understand it much clearer and better. Thank you, children. Thank you for watching such videos. Thank you again.